Washington, D.C. Now we move on to our next news. In London, UK Defence Secretary John Healey revealed a major data breach involving nearly 19,000 Afghans who applied to relocate under British protection. The breach occurred in 2022, but was kept secret under a court order, lifted only today. Healey confirmed the secret resettlement route is now closed, though 600 pre-approved cases will proceed. He apologized to those affected and admitted the breach exposed many to Taliban reprisals. Afghans are relocating because they assisted British forces and now face Taliban threats. Around 4,500 have already arrived in the U.S., costing roughly $520 million. Let's have a look at what the UK Defence Secretary had to say.
In February 2022, 10 months after the then Defence Secretary Ben Wallace introduced the Afghan relocations and assistance policy, 6 months after the fall of Kabul, a defence official emailed an Arab caseworking file outside of authorised government systems. ARAP, as the House knows, is the resettlement scheme that this country established for Afghan citizens who worked for or with our UK armed forces over the combat years of Afghanistan.
Now we're joined by Keith Vaz. He's a former British minister joining us live from London. Thank you, Keith, for joining us today. Welcome to NewsX World. What are the established security protocols for handling such sensitive data related to Afghan relocation applicants, and how might those which have been compromised in this breach affect and now it's public affect image of image and confidence on British government?
Good morning. It's very clear that there has been a very, very serious breach. Of course, there are data breaches happening all over the world at any time, but it's usually the financial details of people that are released. In this particular case, it's very serious because the people who are on that list, 19,000 of them, are connected in some way to people from Afghanistan who have assisted British forces. And why they're at risk is that the Taliban, who the previous American administration handed the government of Afghanistan to, have said anyone who has collaborated with external forces will be regarded as a traitor. So it's not a simple data breach. This is a major breach that has now been revealed to the British Parliament and to the British public, which is going to mean that those people are going to have to be relocated to a safe country. Of course, they want to be relocated to Britain, and the cost of this has been put at about £1 billion. I can't see there's any other way in which you can keep these relatives safe other than to bring them to the UK. Now, in the past, I've dealt with a number of Afghanis who simply couldn't come to the UK, and that's why they joined this very special scheme, the Arab scheme. But then the government closed that scheme. Obviously, they're going to have to reopen it to let in these people whose names are now all over Afghanistan and who are actually at risk of death, because that's what the promise is if you collaborate with American or British forces.
And Keith, now what measures has the UK government taken since the breach was discovered, if we know any, since this news was publicized just today?
Well, there has been a court order that the previous government in Britain applied for, and that suppressed the fact that this had happened. So although obviously this information has been put around, somebody has got it. It's gone to an external government force, so these names are clear to somebody who we don't know. It's been kept a secret because of a court order, but the judge has lifted that court order and made it very clear that that information should be put in the public domain. Not the information of who these 19,000 people are, but just the fact that it was a mistake, the fact that it was suppressed for 2.5 years, and now a decision as to what's going to happen to all these people who are affected. I'm currently dealing with a lot of cases through my foundation of Afghanis who want to come and settle in the UK and have been told they can't. Well, this means all those cases are now opened up, and there is now a real prospect that we have to bring them to the UK. I have to say that the settlement scheme has worked. Afghanis are playing a part in British society. They have got jobs. They are wanting to get out of the centres that have been procured for them. So there's no evidence that they haven't worked well with the existing British authorities and the British people. They want to settle peacefully in the UK, and they should be allowed to do so.
Thank you very much, Keith Vaz, for joining us today and sharing your insight as a former British minister.